Hello folks, welcome to questions 6 through 10 on your chapter 3 review. I'm hoping this pen works a little bit better here. Oh, sorry. So let's jump right into number 6 there. We're just solving for W. So I am going to I could either divide by -5/8 on both sides, or I think it's just a little bit shorter if I instead, since there's a fraction here, if I multiply by the reciprocal. So -8/5. If I multiply by -8/5 on both sides. So this pen is a little bit better, but forgive me, I'm still getting better at writing neatly on here. So negative times negative, those guys cancel out. Your 8's cancel out, your 5's cancel out, and you're just left with W, which is exactly what you want. And on the right side, you can pretend that this is -9/1. You have a negative times a negative is a positive, and you're going to get 72 over, 72, that's a 2, over 5. And you cannot reduce this any further. We don't need to write it as a mixed number. That right there is perfect. If you'd like to, you can check this. For time's sake, I'm not going to do that for you. All you do is plug it in for W, do some multiplication, and this left side should reduce to -9. All right, here we are on number 7. There are a couple ways of going about solving this, but what I've talked to you guys about, well, actually, here, I think the best route, we just want to isolate P. So P is divided by 125, so we want to get rid of that denominator. So on both sides, please multiply by 125. Both sides times 125. And I'm going to do 125 over 1 just to make this more clear to you guys. When you do that, our denominator and our numerator here cancel out. You're just left with P on the right side of your equation. And on the left side, well, remember, we can cross cancel. There is a common factor between 25 and 125, and that is, in fact, 25. So 25 divided by 25 is 1. 125 divided by 25 is 5. So we just made our life a whole lot easier. All we have left to do is 5 times 9. And you're left with 45, and you could put it over 1, but there's no use for that. So your final answer is 45. You guys probably also know that this is a proportion. I think you talked about those quite a bit last year in 7th grade. This is a proportion, one fraction equal to another. Therefore, you could have cross-multiplied, and you could have solved it that way. But that's all right. All right, on to number 8. We're looking to isolate A, so I'm going to start by subtracting 4 on both sides. There we go. We're left with -3A is equal to -18. And then, of course, your last step is to divide by -3 on both sides of your equation. You're left with A equals +6. Once again, you can check all of these answers, and maybe you should practice your checking so that you know how the process works, okay? Because on your test, you can check your answers. Then you can turn in your test and tell me, hey, I got 100%. No need to grade it. All right, on to number 9. Translate the following sentence into an equation. It says the number x subtracted from 36. So 36, and you're subtracting x from it, so it should look something like that. is, usually that means equals. Unless it says is less than. In this case, it says is 3 times the sum. So 3 times the sum of 4 and x. That means the sum means you need to add, and we're adding 4 and x. 3 times 4 plus x equals this guy. And it just says translate. It doesn't say to solve. So you're stopping right here. This is your final answer for 9. If it asked you to solve, well, then you'd need to isolate your x. Lastly, number 10, I already typed this out, but let's talk about it for a second. It says, translate the following equation into a verbal sentence. You could have had different words than what I have here. This is just how I put it onto paper. You might tell a story one way, I might tell it another. As long as they both make sense, that's what matters, if they're both factual. So I say, this is how it should sound. 3 times the sum, that's my addition sign, of x and y is, that's my equal sign, x less than, I'm losing my pen here, so x less than twice of y. So 2y, twice of y, and you need x less than that, so minus x. Okay, so if I had said like 3 less than 2y, you'd have 2y minus 3. In this case, it's x less, so it's 2y minus x. Alright, folks, there are still 3 more videos if you need to look at them. We'll see you tomorrow.